Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fun and awesome episode of Youth Connect. I'm Aiden.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Logan.
I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fun and awesome episode. Hope that you're excited to learn lots about kind of good story news. We got a little bit of animal news. We got a little bit of everything from music to cooking to video games, all the way to some world news as well. We have it all covered. But for those who don't know, what in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that is more than just sharing stories. And we are creating a platform of inclusion and acceptance, one episode at a time. And everyone here that I know is of all abilities, and we as broadcasters, entertainers, want to be included in all opportunities such as acting, directing, writing, chefs, speakers, artists, musicians, you name it, and we want to do it. Youth Connect is going to be a show that I know that you are going to love. And you have met my other co-hosts. Just so we can process in our brains, we will be having Joshua on a recording, and we will not be having Nibras in today, but it is okay because we got Logan, Jeffrey, and Kevin. That's awesome. I hope that you guys are all ready. So what do we usually do first when we do our Youth Connect? I think that first off, we always got to do some interesting gaming news. All right, guys, it's time for that game spotlight. What does that mean? It's either a game that I'm going to be sharing with you today that is either came out recently, an old classic, or is coming out soon. And today is actually in, what's the word? It's going to be a suggestion, and specifically for my sister, because I know this is one of her favorite games of all time. And today's Spotlight Game of the Week is Tekken 8, which apparently releases today. So Tekken 8, what is going on? Tekken 8 continues the tragic saga of the Mishima bloodline and its world-shaking father and son grudge matches. After last time defeating his father, Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya continues his conquest for global domination using the forces of the G Corporation to wage war on the world. And Jin is forced to face his fate head-on as he reunites with his long-lost mother and seeks to stop his father Kazuya's reign of terror. So what is this? You're going to be experiencing the next chapter in the longest-running video game storyline with 32 redesigned unique fighters to master in this all-new Heat system to crush your opponents. You will be enjoying high-fidelity graphics developed for the new generation of hardware to showcase every moment of impact and the aggressive super moves. Now, there is a variety of things to check out, such as single-player content, which includes a brand new arcade quest mode and an in-depth customization system for both playable and avatar characters. Tekken 8 introduces the most thrilling experience yet. I love Tekken. I remember playing Tekken with my family members on the PlayStation 3. Now, I don't know if it was Tekken 7 or Tekken 6. I think it might have been 6. But I love the Tekken series, and I know my sister Jenna loves it a lot. So, Jenna, if you're there, this video game spotlight is for you. So check out Tekken 8 if you love a good fighting game. Anyways, though, next up we have Kevin, and Kevin is going to be sharing with us some all-important news, and I just cannot wait to hear the interesting fact that he's going to be sharing with us today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News, where I bring news, weather, and a very interesting fact. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja, so let's get it right into the headlines. 109 vehicles recovered, dozens of arrests made by Ontario carjacking task force. The developer seeks to sell downtown Toronto development site to the city. Food prices from 2020 Food Basics flyer shocks Torontonians. And Jacob Poto happy to be part of new kind of Toronto Raptors team. In the past 4 months, 109 stolen vehicles have been recovered, and 89 arrests were made, the Provincial Carjacking Joint Task Force says. The task force is made up of multiple Greater Toronto Area law enforcement agencies such as Toronto Police, the OPP, sorry, Peel, York, Halton, and Durham Regional Police Services to address the rise in violent car theft crimes. Police said vehicles crimes include carjackings and home invasions to steal vehicles by trying to obtain car keys. Of the 89 arrests, police said 554 charges had been laid since September 21st, 2023. Although the numbers of carjacking in Toronto decreased in 2023 compared to the year before, we continue to see a concerning rise in violence related to auto theft that the PCJTF will continue to address, said Superintendent Steve Watts from Toronto Police. Across the GTA, members of the task force were successfully disrupting the networks responsible for high-risk auto theft and holding those who are responsible to account, Watts said. The housing advocates gathered outside Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow's office on Thursday afternoon to demand that she met with them to discuss the city's commitment to purchase a prime developer site in downtown East neighborhood. The property in question is a 7-parcel lot at a 214-230 Shelbourne Street, just south of Dundas Street East. The vacant for more than a decade and disused for several years. Advocates and supporters have long advocated for the construction of deeply affordable housing at that location. The city of Toronto put forward to a bid to buy the site in early 2022, however, lost it to KingSett on Capital, which had initially planned to build a luxury 47-story mixed-use condo there. Nonetheless, he said that the fight isn't over and they continue to advocate the city to present KingSett with a strong offer, so that this site in the heart of a community won't be sold off to another developer. The Toronto Centre MPP Christian Wong Tam, who previously served as a city councillor for the area, said that KingSett must be realistic in its expectations for what it will get for the sale of the site and should not anticipate that the city can match the amount and pace for the property in early 2022. Wong Tam said the community can be hopeful that its property could one day become an affordable housing site. A flyer from the Food Basics store 4 years ago is causing a stir online after users noted the soaring cost of grocery items since then. The flyer from 2020 was shared to the Toronto Reddit board over the weekend, revealing prices as low as $2.99 per round for chicken thighs or drumstick, and a deal for 2 1-liter containers of chocolate milk for $3. Last January, a 5-pack of chicken breast from a Toronto Loblaws caught the ire of many shoppers for its early $12.25 per round pricing. Over 200 people commented on the thread, seemingly gobsmacked that watermelon had recently cost less than $3, and the 2 bags of Doritos were on sale for $5. Some grocery shoppers who spoke with CTV News shared their thoughts on the 4-year-old flyer, expressing how enticing the price are and how they would likely buy more if items hovered at this cost nowadays. Sylvain Charbois, Senior Director of Dalhousie University Agri-Food Analysts Lab, sorry about that, told CTV News Toronto in an interview, but looking back at time to see how food prices have wavered is important, but ultimately, with inflation, we should expect food prices to continue to rise. Charles Boyce said, since most grocery shoppers aren't loyal to one company, grocers will need to offer good deals to draw them to their aisles, though not necessarily to the prices seen from 4 years ago. No matter what Ottawa does, prices are stabilizing. And in sports news, this is not the Toronto Raptors team that Jacob Podell re-signed with the offseason. He's okay with that. Podell was traded back to Toronto ahead of last season in the NBA's deadline. Then the center re-signed with the Raptors in the offseason where it was still possible that the point guard Fred VanVleet would also re-up with the team. Since then, VanVleet signed in with the Houston Rockets. Stalwart defender OG Anunoby was dealt to the New York Knicks, and All-Star Pascal Siakam, Portal's best friend in Toronto, was sent to the Indiana Pacers. Although losing VanVleet, Anunoby, and Siakam likely mean the Raptors won't make the postseason, Hotels at least with the turnover if Toronto plays competitive basketball. Siakam's departure was the hardest for Portel emotionally. The two were selected by Toronto in the first round of the 2016 NBA draft and played together on the Raptors development team on their initial rookie contracts. Sorry. Portel wasn't on the Raptors active list when Siakam was traded. The 28-year-old Austrian has been out with the ankle injury since January 7th, when he awkwardly stepped on Siakam's foot during the game in Golden State against the Warriors. Portel has averaged 10.6 pounds to 2.6 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists over 36 games in this season. Porter is averaging 4.9 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in his 11 games with the Raptors this season, but he's only played in 22 NBA games over his career. In today's weather forecast, we've got cloudy showers this afternoon. The temperature is now 5 degrees. And tomorrow we will get mainly cloudy. The temperature will be 1 degree. And now we are moving to an interesting fact. What's my topic of the day? I'm going to talk about stargazing. Yes, stargazing. The night sky is full of bright stars, galaxies, and mystery too. Science has uncovered a lot about our solar system, but we are only the brink of understanding the sheer capacity of the universe and beyond. Adults and children both enjoy the beauty and mystical qualities of the night sky, and the more you learn about our vast solar system, the more curiosities and questions are provoked. The first fact is the Milky Way is the galaxy our solar system resides within. When the skies are dark and clear, the Milky Way appears like a bright belt of stars. Its age is estimated in a whopping 13.2 billion years old. And the second fact is the average star is between 1 and 10 billion years old. Although some stars are older than this, larger stars live shorter lives compared to smaller stars, because large stars burn through the fuel much faster. Giant stars exploded into a bright supernova when they die. The third fact is the most common type of star is a red dwarf. These stars less than half of the sun's masses and size. Red dwarfs burn very slowly, extending their lifespan to over 100 billion years. These stars shine less than others because they are cooler, and as they age, they get dimmer until they disappear, unlike giant stars such as supergiants and hypergiants. Small red dwarf stars do not explode. Interestingly, our sun is a red dwarf star. Most of the stars you see in the night sky are bigger and brighter than the sun. All of the 50 most prominent stars you can see in the sky from Earth are much brighter and bigger than the sun. And the dimmest of all is 50 is Alpha Centauri, which is still more than 1.5 times brighter than the sun. And the last fact, our sun is a green star. Rather than a green-blue star, its an actual color borders these two shades. Once influenced by the surroundings, the sun appears to be white or yellow to us humans looking up from planet Earth. This is Kevin Aruja reporting news from Youth Connect. I'm sending it back to Aiden. See you next Friday.
I know a lot of people absolutely love the stars. I know that a lot of people kind of just enjoy at nighttime where they can look up into the sky and kind of connect the constellations and just see the amazing planets. Like, for example, you'll see the moon, or if you have a telescope, you can see even farther. I absolutely love doing that, and I really loved your news, Kevin. I also will say with the chat, I saw it from my sister, yes, Jenna. I saw it, And yes, I don't know if I could beat you, but if I learned the combos, I'd probably be able to. So do watch out. I might be learning about them as we're talking. No, but seriously though, Kevin, that was awesome. And honestly though, it's really important to have that interesting fact because learning a little bit about a certain topic or just learning about something is always great, and it really expands our minds and makes us more open-minded. I will say for Jeffrey and Logan, did you guys like a favorite? Did you have a favorite part of Kevin's news?
I like the stargazing one. That was my favorite. That was
Yeah,
cool.
the stargazing is stargazing is really a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree too.
Accompanying it with some music would be a great addition, right, Jeff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And guys, this is time to go into our second gaming news, just so we know. This is interesting news, I will say the least. It is a little bit more negative, so do be watching out for that. Do note that a memo from Xbox is known from Xbox. The Xbox boss, Phil Spencer, has been saying to his workers that the company is going to be planning to shed 1,900 members of its 22,000 staff. It was sent 3 months after the software giant acquired Activision Blizzard, known for the Call of Duty and Warcraft series. In the letter, verified as genuine by Microsoft, Mr. Spencer says losing staff was a painful decision. First published by the tech website The Verge, the message suggests that that the staff within the Xbox division and at publisher ZeniMax, which oversees studios including Bethesda and Arcane, will also be affected. Many news outlets have asked Microsoft for details of how many employees in each business will be affected. A second letter, also published by The Verge and verified by Microsoft, was sent to Blizzard staff from the Microsoft Studios head, Matt Booty. He said meetings with affected staff will take place throughout the day, with workers outside North America being informed later. The message also echoes Mr. Spencer's saying the company would provide our full support, including severance benefits informed by local employment laws. It also confirms that development on a survival strategy game project widely known as Odyssey has stopped production. Microsoft also finally purchased Activision Blizzard and Candy Crush creator King last September after a series of battles with regulators. And after the deal went through, Activision CEO Bobby Kotick left the company and was not directly replaced. In the wake of latest news, another senior figure at the company announced that he is going to be also departing. Blizzard boss Mike Ybarra, who previously worked at Microsoft, said in a statement, "It has been an honor to lead the company through an incredible time, and he would return to being its biggest fan from the outside." I don't know about you guys, but it seems like they're not leaving out of choice. They're being forced to leave or leaving out of fear that they are going to be next. I do feel that Xbox is kind of grabbing a lot of companies, and hopefully our major games such as, for example, Warcraft and Call of Duty eventually are able to branch out, because I know that the Call of Duty series has been significantly dying. Like, for example, Call of Duty, I don't know, the most recent one was apparently just a reskin of the game. So I really hope that Xbox kind of plans to talk it out and figure out ways to not remove 4% of the entire company, which is quite a lot. 12%. So it's 1,900 out of 22,000. That is quite a bit. Anyways, though, next up, we're going to have some news from Joshua, who has some good story news, and, of course, your very favorite animal news.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Youth Crank. Now for a good news story. India's famous potholes breed anger. They are annoying and can cause even expensive repairs. But India's potholes actually saved a life this January. Darshan Singh Var has been feeling very ill and was taken to the hospital and put on a ventilator. And, and after 4 days, his heartbeat stopped and he was taken off the ventilator and declared dead. He was then being transported to the wake after his untimely death from a chest infection at the age of 80. Family, relatives, and friends had already gathered for a banquet and cremation when the ambulance he was being carried in received a nasty jolt from a pothole on the roads in Nising in far northern India, Harian state. It was then that Mr. Barnes' grandson, who was on board the ambulance at the time, noticed his hand moving, checking his pulse, and finding to his great shock that there was a pulse. He notified the driver to immediately turn toward the nearest hospital where he was declared alive. Baldwin Singh, who is another grandson of Mr. Barr, said it's a miracle. Now we are hoping that my grandfather recovers soon. It is God's grace that he is now breathing and we are hoping he will get better. Doctors at Royal Hospital said that the grandfather is breathing without the aid of a ventilator and his heartbeat has normalized. They can't say for certain why the other hospital declared him dead, but speculated it may have been a technical error. Well, next time you are planning to go to your town hall or city about the potholes on your street, consider the story of Narjan Singh Bar and how the potholes saved his life. Now for another good news story. A 100-year-old Second World War veteran has walked hundreds of miles around his garden to raise money for charity. Lance Corporal Harold Jones laps his back garden 30 times every day, no matter the weather, and has been doing so since 2020, as he was inspired by the world media sensation of the late Captain Tom. So announced who announced on social media he was doing the same thing in the early days of the pandemic in 2020. Corbell Jones is a great grandfather of 6, and he started walking circuits and around his bungalow during lockdown like Captain Tom, and has so far taken his walker a total of 661 miles, equating to the 41,500 feet laps around his garden, or about the same distance from his home in Birmingham, England, to the border of Germany. The pensioner reckons the secret to his long-lasting fitness is due to his time in the armed forces, setting him up with a high level of endurance. Harold, who served in the British Army from 1942 until 1947, was stationed first in India and then in Burma during World War II as a non-combat officer worker. He began fundraising for the Motor Neuron Disease Association and has since raised money equivalent to 74,000 Canadian dollars in just under 40 years. It has become a daily routine for him ever since. He says that it's the walking that keeps him fit. He previously broke his back in 3 places, but his ankles, knee, joints, and hips are perfect. He walks in the morning after breakfast in whatever weather. Harold added, "You need to have the determination to get up and go, which is so important." He has since been given the Points of Light Award by the British Prime Minister for his brave efforts. Now turning to animal interest news. A 13-year-old girl hatched a quail from a supermarket egg and now hopes the bird might start its own family. Zara Sutcliffe calls the affectionate fowl her best friend after she reared him from an egg that was purchased at the local grocery store in England. For months, she had begged her mother to try an incredible project she heard about online about how another shopper had managed the same feat with a duck egg. Her mother eventually agreed and bought her a box of Clarence Court quail eggs, even though her husband insisted that the family couldn't have any more animals. After 3 weeks of warming and nurturing the egg, Zara had hatched it at her suburban home outside of Manchester, England, and began raising him in her bedroom. Zara affectionately calls him Pebbles. When the eggs did hatch, they ended up in her bedroom, so she had them in a mesh dog crate with a heater and lamp. Pebbles ended up living in her room for weeks, going from strain to strain, and now treats Zara as a mother figure. Last week, the family went a step further and bought a harem of 6 new female quails so that Pebbles could start living among his own kind. and maybe even have some chicks of his own. Pebbles is a life that never should have been, Zara said, and he might end up making life. Their collection of pets already includes a dog, 3 cats, and 2 red-footed tortoises. But now, Zara's mother, Claire, is a big supporter of enlarging the quail clan. This is Joshua Show reporting for Youth Connect. That's it for me. Now send it back to you, Aiden.
You know what? In all honesty, I really think that Joshua's first news was my favorite part. So imagine having potholes resuscitate you back to life due to the factor of the bumps of the potholes pumping up and down, basically pumping that old man back to life. It really gets me thinking, do I hate potholes or do I love potholes? Yeah, I feel very conflicted here. Do I love potholes or do I hate potholes? Oh, I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. I guess to you guys, what was your favorite part of Joshua's news?
I like the animal news.
You like the animal news?
Yeah.
I think that the animal news is very strange, which means that
Mhm.
one
I like
of the eggs was
the hatching from the quail. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that works because I'm pretty sure the eggs at the supermarket are unfertilized, and you quite literally need to get fertilized eggs for it to work. But again, I am amazed that they were able to do that. So that's mind blowing. I did like the old man though. The old man who walked
That was really
40,000 times.
Oh yeah, I
around
like
the
that
globe.
one too.
That was really interesting. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how old you are, guys.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You can always improve the world by doing even the smallest things, such as walking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from Logan. Did you have a favorite part?
Oh yeah, it's still the potholes, I'd say.
The potholes definitely was
That was
interesting.
an amusing and heartwarming story at the same time.
Yes, mind-blowing and heartwarming, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I think maybe we should move on to Logan for his cooking knowledge that he's going to be sharing with us today. Are you ready, Logan? I think he's ready.
Hello, Youth Connect, and yes, Aiden, I am ready. Welcome to my little bit over here. And for this week, I'll be talking about the different types of stovetops. Now, this will be pretty useful information for just about everybody, since almost everyone has a stovetop in their home. And maybe you'd like to know a little bit about what the benefits of your stovetop are, what some of the downsides there are, and what other options you can source for it. So I'll go over the 3 types of stovetops, gas, electric, and induction, and I will talk about some of the pros of each and some of the cons of each. So going over the first type, the gas stove, this is what a gas stove looks like. You can see here that basically how it works is that there's these little circular bits at the bottom, and they basically emit out like propane or natural gas. And by using a lighter, just bringing the flame near it, it turns it on, and it basically ignites the gas and produces the flame. And from there, you just rest your pot or pan on these little wire bits over here, and the flame will heat up the bottom, and it'll heat up your pot and pan. So the pros of a gas stove is that they are usually very durable. They're also very easy to control the temperature by just adjusting the size of the flame, and it usually allows you to either heat up or cool down the pan pretty fast by doing that. Another more niche benefit about gas stoves is that the flame, unlike other stovetops that only heat the bottom of the pan, the flame kind of wraps around the pan and heats it a lot more evenly. Like, take this picture here over as an example. This is a bit of an exaggeration. You don't usually see this type of flame on like a commercial like home gas stove, But yeah, you can see how like the flames kind of just wrap around this pan. This makes it very ideal for pans like woks, where there's a lot where like there's no flat bottom, and you need to heat up a lot of the surface area on it. So yeah, those are gas stoves. And gas stoves are actually at Humber. Gas stoves are predominantly what our kitchen is supplied with. So the cons of a gas stove is, of course, you need to have a gas line for it to work, and it needs to be connected to propane or a natural gas tank. They can be pretty annoying to turn on since you need a lighter to turn on each individual like stove. They're also pretty annoying to clean. I'll bring up the picture again, but like cleaning in between, like underneath the flat surface, and also these steel grates, very annoying. And another downside is that it can heat the kitchen up pretty hot. After all, you're working with open fire. And like, yeah, stuff gets pretty hot. It gets pretty hot in Humber. That's why I don't really like the gas stoves that much personally. So moving on to the next type of stove, the electric stoves. Now, electric stoves are heated by running a electric current through one of two things, either the above here, like a sort of metal coil that they run like an electric current through and it heats it up bright orange, or something like this, where there's like a heating element underneath a big layer of glass, and it just heats it up, and then you just place your pot or pan on there, and it heats that up too. And the glass stove is actually what I have in my house right now. I actually had both versions of the electric stove. We initially had the coil version, but that one got pretty old and bad, so we switched over to a glass version. This one sort of looks exactly like that. So the pros of a gas stove is that it's much easier to turn on. The pros of an electric stove is that it's much easier to turn on. You just twist the dial and you just wait for it to heat up. It keeps the kitchen a lot cooler than gas. And there's no need for a gas line, and it's much, much easier to clean. You just wait for the stove to, for example, if you just have, if like a pot of soup boils over, you just wait for the stove to cool down and you can just wipe it clean with like a wet towel or something. The cons of an electric stove, however, is that the temperature control with it is not all that easy. It takes a while for the electric current here to heat up both elements. And it also takes a while for it to cool down, unlike a flame, which can easily be turned on and off at a whim. So moving on to the third and final stovetop, and this one is fascinating, I would say. I am talking about the induction stovetops. Now, inductions are pretty similar to electric stoves, but instead of heating using electricity, it heats using magnetism. Now, the technology for induction cookware is very complicated, more so than what I can really explain, but basically, in layman's terms, the stovetop like emits a magnetic field that transfers the heat onto the pan. So technically, the stovetop never actually gets hot, only the pot or the pan does, which is really fascinating to me. And that leads into its first advantage over, say, electric or gas, and that's that it's much more safe to use induction, since only the pan gets hot, not the stove itself, meaning that it can't burn you. It also heats up very fast, much faster than both gas or electric. And much like an electric stovetop, it is also very easy to clean. If something boils over, you just wait for it. You just take the pan off and you just wipe it clean with like a wet towel. Well, of course, it does have some disadvantages. The main disadvantage of induction stovetop is that they're usually extremely, extremely expensive. and the most expensive type of stovetop out there. If you want to get like a portable, like one burner induction stovetop, that'll maybe be cheaper, but generally they are pretty expensive. And another disadvantage is, since the stoves heat up the pot using magnetism, the induction stoves will only work on pots and pans that are also magnetic. So stuff like copper pans or ceramic, that will not work with a induction stovetop. And there's a pretty simple way to test if the cookware you have at home is induction safe. And that's by simply just taking a little magnet and you just stick it onto the pan. And if the magnet sticks, then yeah, it's magnetic. Therefore, an induction stovetop should work with it. Now, I will say that induction stovetops probably became my favorite purely because of the 2 kitchens at Humber College that use them, and they are so much easier to use than the other kitchens that have gas stoves. And honestly, I just love induction stovetops a lot. I'll leave it at that. And that basically just concludes my little listen on the 3 types of stovetops. So maybe it's a little something to consider when taking a look at your stovetop and what perhaps the other alternatives is. But yeah, that'll be just about it today. And back to you, Aiden.
You know what? I learned a little bit about gas stoves and the difference between gas stoves and electric stoves. I think that, in my honest opinion, I always see that all the famous chefs have gas stoves. And Logan, out of you being a chef, do you think that electric stoves are better or gas stoves better? Like if you had to choose, like with all the benefits of one and the other benefits of the other, like which one do you think is the best? Because to be honest, each one has its own good things about them. Like for example, gas stoves are highly responsive, so they can heat up and cool down. But like, what are your thoughts?
Well, I would say that an electric stove is much more like user friendly for like say a home cook. But at like high-end restaurants where they're of course working with like a much greater skill set, they're less prone to make the mistakes that like a home cook would make. A gas stove would be a pretty good advantage for them.
Okay.
And it also heats up a lot faster than electric, so when you're getting the orders out, you probably want like speed in that.
You know what? This is good information to write down, guys. I might need to slowly but surely start switching from an electric stove to a gas stove. I wonder if my parents would allow me to get one. Or maybe I'll get a wok. Oh, see, I always see woks with open flames, and I really need to do that. But you know what, guys? If you are just starting baking, I've heard that baking is great for electric stoves due to the fact that all the heat is even, very even amount of heat. So the roasting and the baking is going to be very evenly cooked. So definitely love the info, Logan. Thank you so much. This is why we need that little bit of cooking knowledge, because you know what? A lot of people don't know about the difference between a gas stove and an electric stove. And I know that electric stoves are a little bit safer than gas stoves. Anyways, thank you so much, Logan. And I'm going to be bringing the next person on our list. And who do we have next? I think that we have Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's going to be bringing his live music.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's ready to rock, ready to jam. I'm going to be playing one of my original songs called You Lied. And also, I want to give a shout out to my Auntie Daryl and to my aunt and her mother-in-law who are watching from Georgia. So, saying hi to you all out there. Here we go. No one ever asked the stars why they shine, or the clouds why they bring rain that showers down. Don't tell me, be quiet. Tell me time and time again. push me to the limit, so stop being my friend. Heart is hurting, can't you see? Your words are tearing on my soul. Parts like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Please stop. Tell me for who I am. Let my soul inspire you whenever it can. Whose words say, tear me apart. Twist my emotions and you break my heart. If you let me stay, my eyes will fill with novel up and I will cry. Because you lied. You lied. Oh, you lied. You lied. You lied. Inside. No one ever asked the stars why shine, or the clouds why they bring rain, showers down. Don't tell me to be quiet. Time and time again, push me to the limit, so stop. Be my friend. My heart is hurting. Can't you see? Your words are tearing up my soul. Parts like 1, 2, 3. Please stop. Love me for who I am. Let myself inspire you whenever it can. Words they say tear me apart, twist my emotions and break my heart. Let myself speak, if you let you stay, my eyes will fill up and I will cry. Because you lie, you lie. 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 You lie inside. Twist my emotions and you break my heart. If you let me stay, my eyes will fill up and I will cry. Because you lie. lie. Oh, you lie. You lie inside. You lie. Oh, you lie inside. Hey everybody, this is Jeffrey, your live musician. I'll see you all next week, and make sure to check out my website, jeffreycommand.com. Bye everybody.
An amazing song from Jeff. I love the song. You extended it. That sounded absolutely brilliant. You know what? I always have to say this, guys. Whenever we have Jeffrey do a brand new song, also apologies there. I had a hiccup and like a cough kind of combining into something else. Whenever Jeff does a new song, it really is amazing to hear what he's going to be bringing, because it's always a change. You know, I write the lyrics and sometimes send it an example, and then he changes it up, and it's amazing to see how the song turns out. And today is no difference. Amazing work, Jeff. And this has been the end of our Youth Connect. If you liked Youth Connect, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the notification bell.
Other than that, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Enjoy it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And you know what? We will see you all next week. And thank you so much, Logan. Thank you so much, Jeff. And thank you so much, Kevin. And we will see you all next Friday. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you later.